Listen carefully. The fastest way a legal gun owner ends up in handcuffs, disarmed, or on a watch list is not a felony. It's visibility and over-talking. A printing grip under a t-shirt, a loose case in the back seat, a mind if I show you moment. Visibility triggers suspicion. Suspicion justifies a detention. Detention justifies a frisk. A frisk expands into a vehicle search. That cascading chain is preventable, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to break it. Calmly, lawfully, and without escalating. I'm a lawyer and a gun owner. My job isn't to help criminals, it's to keep responsible citizens from being treated like criminals because their gear was visible. This is about control, your control, under pressure. Quick disclaimer, this is legal education, not individualized legal advice. Laws vary by state and city, especially around open carry, concealed carry, duty to inform, and vehicle transport. You are responsible for knowing your jurisdiction. I'll flag critical variables so you can check your state code and Attorney General guidance after this video. Here's the promise. By the end, you'll have a step-by-step system to reduce visibility, control the encounter, and deny legal footholds for a search without being combative. We'll cover what triggers reasonable suspicion, how your body's stress response sabotages you, exact phrases that shut down fishing expeditions, transport setups that pass the scrutiny test, and how to comply without volunteering evidence. I'll give you 9 concrete rules. Each one is problem, solution, why it works. 1. Problem. Visibility creates gun crime energy, even when you're legal. 2 common traps: printing and flashing. Printing is the outline of a firearm visible through clothing. Flashing is momentary exposure. In many jurisdictions, accidental exposure is not a crime, but it invites a 911 man with a gun call or gives an officer an ostensible safety concern. That concern can justify a Terry stop and a pat-down for weapons. The moment the gun is known, the encounter lengthens, and your margin for error shrinks. Solution: dress for invisibility, not Instagram. Use concealment-specific holsters with rigid trigger guard coverage and a wing lever that pulls the grip into your body. Choose shirts with structured fabric and patterning. Patterns and mid-weight fabrics crush outlines. Size up 1 in shirts and choose a belt built for holsters so the pistol sits constant, not pendulum swinging. Practice the mirror check with dynamic movement. Bend, reach, twist, sit. If you print or flash, fix your wardrobe, not your posture. In vehicles, prioritize off-body concealment that is lawful, locked case or closed container as your state defines it, and below line of sight. Why it works. If the gun never becomes the visual focal point, the officer never acquires the weapon-known justification. You remove the first domino. On the neurological side, you reduce your own sympathetic arousal. Because you aren't subconsciously monitoring exposure, your voice and hands look normal, which officers read as low threat. 2. Problem. Your body betrays you under stress. A traffic stop spikes adrenaline and noradrenaline. Your hands tremble, voice rises, pupils dilate, peripheral vision narrows. You start info dumping, the worst possible habit. People spill that they're carrying, that they might have a firearm in the glove box, or that it's not loaded. That chatter creates probable cause footholds and extends the stop. Solution: script your physiology. Before you carry, decide your exact actions. Vehicle in park, window down, engine off, cabin light on at night, hands at 10 and 2 on the wheel, no sudden reaches. Breathe. 4 count inhale through the nose, 6 count exhale through the mouth, twice. When the officer arrives, good morning, afternoon, evening, officer. Nothing else unless your state has a duty to inform. If your state requires immediate disclosure, use the exact sentence. Officer, I am licensed to carry. I am lawfully carrying. The firearm is location. I am not going to touch it. Then stop talking. Wait for instructions. Why it works. You're overriding the stress loop. The longer exhale signals your vagus nerve, dropping heart rate and calming tremor. That produces flat affect, slower speech, and consistent hand placement. Behaviors officers read as cooperative, not furtive. The phrasing is minimalist, satisfies statutory duty, and denies the consent via babble pathway. 3. Problem. The consent creep. This is the most common search gateway for legal owners. Officer, mind if I take a quick look? Do you have anything I should know about? For my safety, can you hand me the firearm? Casual language plus authority bias, plus stress, sas, unknowing consent. Once you consent, the scope of the search expands to what's reasonably related to that consent. Solution. Use a 3-part refusal that is polite, firm, and unequivocal. Memorize it. Officer, I don't consent to any searches. I'm happy to comply with lawful orders. Am I free to go? If asked to hand over the firearm, for everyone's safety, I won't handle a firearm during a stop. I will follow your lawful instructions. If the officer persists, repeat once verbatim. Why it works. You withdraw consent, which forces the officer back onto objective justification. Your willingness to comply with lawful orders signals non-obstruction while reserving your rights. The "am I free to go?" question closes the loop. If the answer is no, it's a detention, and the officer must articulate reasons. That articulation is where vague hunches die. 4. Problem. Duty to inform confusion. In some states, you must immediately disclose that you're carrying. In others, you don't. People either over-disclose, triggering unnecessary handling, or under-disclose, which can violate the statute. Solution: know your lane. In duty to inform states, disclose early, exactly once as I modeled. In non-duty states, do not volunteer. If asked, answer truthfully and minimally. I'm a licensed carrier. If asked location, it's holstered or secured and I won't be touching it. Do not add side facts, ammo counts, make, muchacha, model, or storage details. Why it works. Over-disclosure increases handling. Weapon handling during stops elevates risk. You aren't obligated to narrate your loadout. Minimal compliance satisfies law without feeding curiosity. 5. Problem: transport traps in vehicles. 3 recurring issues: glove box gun commingled with documents, loaded magazine in the same container where your state prohibits it, and plain view arguments from a partially open bag or transparent case. Any of these can legitimize a warrantless search under the automobile exception if combined with other cues. Solution: build a stop-proof compartmentalization. Documents live in a document-only visor sleeve or door pocket. Firearm rides in a dedicated closed container that satisfies your state's case definition. If your state requires locked, lock it. If your state requires separation of gun and ammo, place the magazine in a separate closed container. If not required, separation still reduces arguments. Position the case out of immediate reach if your jurisdiction uses not readily accessible language. If you keep a carry gun on body, your registration and insurance should be somewhere that never requires crossing over the gun to retrieve. No. Glove box reachovers. Why it works. You starve the plain view and officer safety pretext. When your hands retrieve documents, they never move near a suspected weapon. The visual field shows no gun-related gear. The less the officer sees, the fewer articulable reasons exist to prolong the stop. 6. Problem: the furtive movement narrative. Officers are trained to watch hands. Rapid reaches, leaning, twisting, or dipping below seat level get recorded as furtive and justify a pat-down or a sweep for weapons. Many citizens create this narrative by innocently grabbing insurance from a glove box that also contains a holster, magazine, or cleaning kit. Solution: pre-stage everything. Before you drive, put your license, registration, and insurance in a single bright sleeve within easy reach. If you're stopped at night, turn on your dome light before the officer approaches. Keep hands visible. If you must reach, narrate one sentence. My registration is in the visor. I'm going to reach up with my right hand. Then do only that. If your documents are on your phone, say, my insurance is on my phone. It's in my right pocket. May I retrieve it? Wait for assent. Why it works. You eliminate surprises. Officers don't fear slow, visible motions they expect and approve. That reduces the urge to control the scene with a frisk or by removing you from the vehicle. 7. Problem: I smelled marijuana. In many states, smell alone still supports probable cause for a vehicle search, even after decriminalization. Some citizens lawfully carry firearms and also lawfully possess hemp products. The mix is poison. Solution: don't mix. If you carry, your vehicle is a sterile environment. No smoke, no residue, no grinders, no hemp packaging. Clean your cabin and trunk. Do not lend your vehicle to friends who smoke. Keep your gun gear scent neutral by storing it in closed, clean containers. If confronted with the smell claim, do not argue about smells. Default to the consent refusal. I don't consent to any searches. Am I free to go? Why it works. You remove the fact pattern that invites the excuse. If a search happens anyway, your clean cabin and lack of odor artifacts will support your counsel later. 8. Problem: officers asking, where is the firearm? Then ordering you to hand it over or unload it. Handling guns under stress creates negligent discharge risk, and your fingerprints on the magazine and chamber become evidence handling that can be misinterpreted. Solution: policy your personal rule. You never touch firearms during a stop. Use this line: for safety, I won't handle any firearm. I will follow your lawful instructions. If the officer insists on disarming, offer positional compliance. I'll keep my hands on the wheel while you do what you need to do. Keep your body still. Do not watch the gun, watch the windshield. Do not give advice about how to unload your model. If asked operational questions, I'm not going to manipulate the firearm during the stop. Why it works. You refuse a dangerous task without refusing the officer's authority. If disarmament is going to happen, let the trained party do it. You also avoid introducing statements that later become admissions about function or condition. 9. Problem: the do you mind stepping out pivot. Once you're outside, officers gain view angles into your cabin, can run a pat down, and can isolate you from family witnesses. Many people consent casually stepping into a frisk. Solution: understand that officers may order you out of the vehicle for officer safety during a lawful stop. If told, comply, but control the boundaries. As you exit, close the door behind you, locking the vehicle if lawful in your jurisdiction. Hands visible, feet shoulder width. When asked for consent to frisk, I don't consent to any searches. If told you're being frisked for weapons, do not argue. Assume the position as instructed. Stay silent, breathe, and re-ask after the frisk. Am I free to go? Why it works. You obey lawful orders while denying expanded searches based on consent. Closing the door removes plain view shots into the cabin and prevents fishing expeditions under the guise of door already open. We've already completed our first value loop. You understand how visibility begins the search chain, how your stress physiology invites self-incrimination, and how specific phrases stop it. Next, we'll go deeper into the legal thresholds: reasonable suspicion, probable cause, plain view, inventory searches, and the automobile exception, plus the exact transport setups that survive scrutiny in most states, and how to handle 3 special scenarios: school zones, hotel rooms, and ranges. Let's lock down the legal thresholds so you can hear them in real time during a stop and adjust. If you know the officer's lawful ceiling, you know when to talk, when to be silent, and when to ask, "Am I free to go?" Reasonable suspicion, RS, specific, articulable facts that criminal activity may be afoot. It is lower than probable cause, PC. RS allows a temporary detention, and if the officer reasonably believes you're armed and dangerous, a pat-down of outer clothing for weapons. Terry frisk. Owning or carrying a firearm legally does not equal dangerous, but visible firearms often get conflated with danger. Your job is to remove the articulable cues: no furtive movements, no nervous chatter, no odor cues, no inconsistent stories. Probable cause, PISC, facts and circumstances that would lead a reasonable person to believe evidence of a crime is present. PC authorizes a vehicle search under the automobile exception without a warrant. Common PC bridges. Admission: I have a gun in the glove box and I'm not sure my permit is current. Contraband in plain view, odor of contraband, inconsistent statements, or furtive movement, combined with another factor. Plain view: officers lawfully present can seize contraband they immediately recognize without additional intrusion. The catch: immediately apparent is elastic. A partially unzipped range bag with a visible loaded magazine can become unsafe transport depending on state law. Consent: the shortcut to everything. If you remove consent from the table, RS must be built into PC or the stop ends. Inventory search: if your car is lawfully impounded, the agency's policy may allow a full inventory search to catalog contents. Don't let a routine stop become an impound by driving unregistered, uninsured, or on a suspended license. Keep your admin clean. Now, 3 high-risk contexts: school zones, Federal Gun-Free School Zones Act, and state analogs vary, but the rule of thumb is brutal. Don't test the margins. If you must pass through a school zone, your firearm should be unloaded and locked in a case, and you should have whatever licensing your state demands. Do not park on school property with a firearm in the vehicle unless you've confirmed the exact exception applies to you. Visibility near a school multiplies risk. Hotels: a hotel room is typically treated as a temporary residence for Fourth Amendment purposes, but common areas are public. Transport firearms to and from your room in a nondescript closed case. Avoid rifle-shaped cases. Use luggage-style cases. No lobby manipulations. If staff asks what's in the case, private property. Inside the room, secure in a locked case if you invite housekeeping. Ranges: the pathway to the range and back is when many owners get stopped with visible gear, loose magazines, and ammo boxes in open view. Close everything. Label nothing. Store guns in locked or closed cases. Ammo in separate closed boxes. Do not leave cases uncovered on the back seat. Trunk them or cover them. Let's convert this framework into a 9-rule system you can apply today. Rule 1. Build your carry around non-event concealment. Problem: fashion holsters, minimalist clips, and stretchy belts print, sag, and shift. Solution: choose a holster that locks the trigger guard, uses a wing lever, and has adjustable ride height and cant. Carry position: appendix AIWB or strong side behind the hip. Pick one and train. Belt: dual layer nylon or concealed carry leather with stiffness. Clothing: structured shirts with pattern, jackets with hem weight. Test dynamic concealment. Why it works. Stability plus grip tuck. Kills printing during natural movements, the exact moments most people flash. Rule 2. Map your duty to inform and script it. Problem: guessing under stress. Solution: write a 1-sentence disclosure, if required. Put it on a card in your wallet. Practice saying it without extra words. Why it works. You don't improvise, you comply and stop. Rule 3. Pre-stage documents and posture. Problem: furtive reach and glove box commingling. Solution: documents in a visor sleeve, hands at 10 and 2, engine off, dome light on at night. Ask before reaching. Why it works. You eliminate the only facts that support a weapon reach story. Rule 4. Separate and seal. Problem: plain view and readily accessible language. Solution: gun in a closed case that meets your state's definition. If your state prefers locked, lock it. Ammo in a separate closed container. Place both out of reach if your statute uses that phrase. If you carry on body, ensure your administrative documents never require crossing the gun to retrieve. Why it works. You neutralize the strongest vehicle search narratives. Rule 5. Master the consent refusal script. Problem: soft, I guess consent. Solution: I don't consent to any searches. I will comply with lawful orders. Am I free to go? Repeat once, then silence. Why it works. The officer either articulates grounds or ends the stop. No middle. Rule 6. No handling guns during stops, ever. Problem. Negligent discharges and self-incrimination. Solution. For safety, I won't handle a firearm during a stop. I'll keep my hands visible while you do what you need to do. Why it works. You avoid dangerous manipulation and deny admissions about functionality or condition. Rule 7. Sterile vehicle policy. Problem. Odor hurts appearance PC. Solution. No smoke, no residue, no paraphernalia in a carry vehicle. Keep the cabin clean. Don't transport friends' gear. Why it works. You remove an entire class of probable cause. Rule 8. Minimal talk, maximal clarity. Problem. Adrenaline-driven oversharing. Solution. Short answers to direct questions. If it's not required by law or needed to complete the stop, you don't say it. Why it works. Less language, fewer hooks to justify prolonging the stop. Rule 9. Control exits and re-entry. Problem. Door left open, cabin exposed, casual frisk. Solution. If ordered out, step out, close the door, lock if lawful. If frisk requested, refuse consent. If frisk ordered, comply without commentary. Ask, am I free to go, when it ends. Why it works. You set procedural boundaries without resisting. Now let's apply these rules to 3 specific stop scenarios so you can hear the scripts in your own voice. Scenario A. Routine speeding stop. No duty to inform state. On-body concealed carry. You. Engine off, window down, dome light on if night, hands visible. Officer. License and registration. You. License is in my wallet, back right pocket. Registration is in the visor. May I get them? Officer. Go ahead. You retrieve. Slow, visible, 1 movement at a time. Hand them over. Officer. Are there any weapons in the vehicle? You. Truthful, minimal. I'm a licensed carrier. Officer. Where is it? You. Holstered on my right side. I'm not going to touch it. If asked to hand it over, for safety, I won't handle a firearm during a stop. I'll keep my hands visible while you do what you need to do. If asked to search, I don't consent to any searches. Am I free to go? Scenario B. Duty to inform state. Firearm in locked case and trunk returning from the range. Officer approaches. You. Officer, I am licensed to carry. I am not carrying on my person. There is a locked case in the trunk. Not going to touch it. Stop talking. Officer, mind if I take a look? You. I don't consent to any searches. I'll comply with lawful orders. Am I free to go? If ordered to open the trunk, confirm. Are you ordering me to open it? If yes and lawful, comply without commentary. If it's a request, the answer is no. Scenario C. Night stop. Passenger starts to talk. Your heart rate spikes. You. Officer, just so you know, my passenger may be recording. To passenger calmly. No sudden moves. Hands visible. Don't reach. I'll handle the talking. Then breathe. 4 in, 6 out, twice. Answers remain short. You do not comment on the firearm unless required by your state or asked directly. Let's address the physiology more deeply because it's the invisible factor that ruins otherwise perfect plans. Under stress, your amygdala fires, sympathetic nervous system surges, and you get tunnel vision. You interpret neutral questions as threats and rush to solve the officer's curiosity by providing extra details. The antidote is mechanical. Rehearse the exact lines and motions. Dry run in your driveway. Hands on the wheel. Say the script. Retrieve documents slowly. Narrate 1 sentence before any reach. Pair the script with the breath protocol so your body recognizes it as a routine. The point isn't to be robotic. It's to be consistent. Consistency reads as competence. Competence de-escalates. Now let's shore up 2 edge cases people get wrong. Edge case 1. Gun cases with combination locks in states that don't require locked transport. Keep it simple. Locking is usually good, but don't create a situation where you fumble for a combo during an order to open the trunk. If you lock, memorize the combo and practice opening it smoothly. If your state only requires closed container, a quality latching case without an external lock may be tactically better to avoid the "he refused to open the case" argument. Edge case 2. Magnetic mounts inside the vehicle. Hard no. Even if your state allows readily accessible firearms, mounts create visibility and retention problems, and they beg for a weapon in plain view narrative. Keep carry either on body, concealed well, or in a case that meets your transport law. Let's build your carry and transport setup so you're invisible and compliant by default. On body concealed carry setup, urban, daily. Pistol with no external modifications that attract attention. Keep it clean and lint-free to avoid malfunctions if an officer ever handles it. Holster. Full trigger guard coverage. Wing, joss, lever. Adjustable cant. Add a wedge for appendix carry to tilt the muzzle outward and the grip inward. Belt. Stiff. If you can twist it like a rope, it's wrong. Clothing. Patterned or textured shirts. 1 size up. Jackets with hem weight. Avoid clingy athletic fabrics when carrying. Admin. License and permit in a front chest wallet or visor sleeve. Never the pocket opposite your holster if reaching would sweep over the gun. Insurance registration consolidated into one bright sleeve. Vehicle transport setup, range days or non-carry states. Firearm unloaded, inside a closed, preferably locked case, meeting your state's definition. Ammo in a separate closed container. Magazines either empty or, if lawful, loaded but stored separate from the gun. Cases placed out of reach, trunk preferred. In SUVs, hatchbacks, placed behind a cargo cover or in a secondary locked box. No gun-shaped cases. Use plain luggage-style or tool-style cases. Cabin sterile. No loose magazines, no cleaning mats, no branded range towels, no 2A decals telegraphing your gear. Home to vehicle transfer protocol. Cases closed before leaving the doorway. You never manipulate a firearm in a public hallway, porch, or parking lot. Moves are short and direct. No lingering by the car with the tailgate open showing gear. If approached by staff, security, just moving personal property. Full stop. Recording and evidence control. If your jurisdiction allows recording, set your dashcam or phone mount to record the entire stop. Start recording before the officer exits their vehicle. Inform politely. For everyone's accuracy, I'm recording. Do not narrate opinions during the stop. Your tone should be neutral. After the stop, write down time, location, agency, and name or badge number. Save footage to cloud immediately. Body cam requests. If an incident occurs, do not demand body cam footage roadside. That invites conflict. After the encounter, use the agency's public records process or have your attorney request it. Preserve your own footage and notes. If things go sideways, search occurs despite refusal, firearm seized, or you're detained, switch to the post-stop protocol. Step 1. Silence. Beyond basic identification and any mandated disclosures, stop talking. I am going to remain silent. I want to speak to an attorney. Repeat as needed. Do not explain, justify, or debate. Step 2. Compliance without consent. If ordered, comply physically. Verbally, restate non-consent. I do not consent to any searches. Do not pull away, argue, or resist. Your calm compliance is the best evidence you have later. Step 3. Documentation. As soon as you're released, write a contemporaneous memo. Date, time, location, officer names, Josh badge, numbers, exact quotes you remember, sequence of events, what was touched or moved, and any witnesses. Save dashcam just phone footage. Step 4. Counsel. Contact a local firearms competent attorney. Provide your memo and footage. Do not post on social media. Your online commentary becomes discoverable evidence. Step 5. Property retrieval. If your firearm was seized, your attorney will navigate the return process. Do not show up at the station demanding property. That invites new issues. Common viewer questions, answered succinctly. Should I tell the officer I'm carrying even if my state doesn't require it? No. Voluntary disclosure often leads to handling. If asked directly, answer truthfully and minimally. What if the officer says he smells marijuana and I know there isn't any? Don't argue about smells. Decline consent. Ask if you're free to go. If searched anyway, fight it later with counsel and your clean cabin as evidence. Can I refuse to step out of the vehicle? No. Officers can order you out during a lawful stop. Comply, set boundaries, and keep refusing consent to search. What if the officer asks where the gun is stored at home? That question is outside the mission of the stop. You are not required to answer. Say, I'm not answering any questions not related to this stop. Should I carry copies of the statute? You can, but don't argue roadside. If an officer misstates the law, note it and address it later through counsel. Open carry? Even where legal, open carry increases 911 calls and officer contact. If your goal is not being stopped, concealed and competent is the move. Now, the rapid review checklist you can keep in your visor. Read it once a week so it's automatic. 1. Before driving. Firearm configuration lawful for your state. Cases closed. Locked as required. Document staged. Cabin sterile. 2. If stopped. Engine off. Window down. Dome light on at night. Hands visible. 3. Breath protocol. 4 in, 6 out, twice. 4. Duty to inform. Deliver your one sentence if required. Otherwise, wait for direct questions. 5. Reaching. Request permission. Narrate one sentence. Slow movement. One task at a time. 6. Consent. I don't consent to any searches. I will comply with lawful orders. Am I free to go? 7. Handling. You never manipulate firearms during a stop. 8. Exits. If ordered out, step out, close door, lock if lawful, hands visible. 9. Post-stop. Document. Preserve footage. Contact counsel if needed. No. Social media. Finally, let's return to the mission. The purpose of carrying is to protect life, not to collect confrontations. Visibility, whether through clothing, gear choices, or language, creates the encounters you're trying to avoid. Control comes from preparation, concealment that holds under motion, vehicles staged to pass scrutiny, scripts you can say even when your hands shake, and silence where curiosity tries to pull you into consent. When you practice this system, you change the officer's experience of you. Calm, predictable, and boring. Boring is how you get sent on your way. If this helped, share it with the people you trust with your life, because those are the people you should trust with a firearm. In the comments, tell me your state and whether it's duty to inform. I'll pin a resource list with statutes and an attorney finder by state. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, skill beats visibility every time.